from like Madrid and from like he's from Gaza, yes, and those are like all kinds of propagandists from all kinds of places. They're telling him delete it and you are a traitor and whatnot.
There are a lot of videos with
He
reviews.
took a picture in Gaza and he's a traitor, for fuck's sake.
There are a lot of reviews of restaurants that are open in Gaza right now. And there's some good ones. And there's video of them too. There's some really good ice cream shops.
So yeah, in some areas are like this, but some areas are completely destroyed. I mean, that is true.
So the thing about the soldiers is, and that Issa was discussing that people have not elaborated about, is that there are many videos on YouTube that were put out by Hamas themselves, also put out by the Associated Press and CNN and whatever, showing the summer camps that were mandatory, where Hamas took children and trained them to be soldiers. So all of the children that are being trained to be soldiers in those videos are more than likely waging this war right now. And this is something that seemed pretty mandatory for both males and females. And it also seemed, because the women went to like Islamic camp and the boys went to soldiers camp. And since they've been doing it for 20-something years, that's like 1.5 generations, maybe 2 generations of people that are like fully trained to be child soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. And that since they're like very little children.
So are they a part of the 70% women and children? No, they're older, right?
No, they're older, of course. Like, you got the kids that start being militants at around 13, 14 years old.
And there is now like 70% women and children.
No, but it's the 70% thing, the narrative. I don't know if you were paying attention when I was talking about this, but it's because most of the men that have been killed are militants, so not civilians. There are no civilian men, or barely any.
That's propaganda.
So when you take into consideration, when you take into consideration the civilian population, you got mainly, no, it's not propaganda. Go on, listen, go and look to the raw data yourself, Othello. Go and look to the raw data yourself. This is something that if you have an analytical brain and you see the raw data of where they are taking the reports, you can come up with this conclusion. This is not something that is being talked about out there.
How many Gazans are there in total?
Like 2 million?
Some people say the number is actually 1.2.
1.2 million.
Some people, that's what they're saying because. Pardon?
That's a big jump right there.
They're not good faith actors. They lie about numbers.
Okay. And
so there's speculation too, and then there's other speculation.
So where did you get your number from? In the UN?
Oh my God! The raw numbers are coming from the UN.
So 2 million.
The narrative is not from the UN. The narrative, what I am telling you, is what I found out by looking at the numbers. But you don't look at raw numbers. What you do is that you go to news channels where you get the food already chewed just for you to swallow.
How many Gazans are men?
You are not used to cook your own food. You're not used to actually
answer my question.
Chew your own.
How many Gazans are men?
We don't know. What's your point?
So let's say
50%. Say 50%.
So
it doesn't matter. 50%, yeah.
Let's say it's about 1 million. So you're telling me so all of the men are Hamas?
No, nobody said that.
The vast majority of adult men, yes, they are militant.
It is a war crime that they do not wear uniforms. They do not wear uniforms, and therefore they are committing war crimes by committing acts of war out of
about 900,000 men.
Nobody said that. Why are you making these numbers up?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. We're saying roughly. We say 50% of 2 million.
No. Because half of them are not all adults. So you need to account also for children that are men. So yeah, but you need to also think that this is not
propaganda.
This is not a form
Zionist propaganda.
Wait,
What's the propaganda? And what is that?
How's it propaganda if it's called critical thinking?
Wait,
This
what,
is not.
what was the thing that you thought was
This is
propaganda?
not a
don't even have
formal.
definite
Oh my
numbers.
God, I'm gonna move him
Sir.
down. And
No, I want to hear what he
this
let me
is
talk to him for a
not
second.
a formal
Othello,
military.
I assume
This
you
is
can't
not a
think-
hold on, Norm. This is not a formal military where you are enlisting to be part of Hamas. There are men that are fighting for a cause, quote unquote. So you don't need to be officially part of Hamas. You just need to be wanting to die for the same cause that Hamas is fighting. And they are brainwashed since they are very little children, including women.
So we can't accept the UN numbers that there are 20 to 40,000 Hamas.
The UN gets their numbers from Hamas. This is the point.
Correct.
So the UN is off about 800,000 members.
What do you mean?
Because she said most of the men.
The UN gets its numbers from Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist
He
group.
said
They don't
most
tell
of
the
the
truth.
male Gazans are militant, right?
Yeah, and you need to account for the children,
Right.
so it's not
So
half of the
UN
population.
So
And
the UN,
if you had a brain, you would understand that when you are talking about demographics in any country, you cannot account. I mean, you have roughly 50% women and men in every place in the world, but then you need to account for children, and then you need to
let me
account
tell you
for
something.
old
If
people. You need to
Israel
account for
knows that
old
they're
people.
fighting a million
We're talking
people or
here
not.
about active adults that are able to take part in society.
This is so weird. Israel knows
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
so
fighting
weird.
900,000 people or not. Israel knows that they're fighting a million people or not, okay? The UN
Yeah,
says that
this
there's
guy is
20 to
retarded. How many
40,000
times do I have
Hamas members.
Wait, Ethan,
How-
let
how
me
many
talk to him
times
for a
do I
second.
Well,
have
Israel
to
also hasn't
explain
killed a million people or
how
targeted a
this
million
works?
people.
Your propaganda won't stick.
I mean, Othello, what's the propaganda? What point are you trying to make?
Yeah.
What's your question?
She says that most of the men in Gaza are militants, are Hamas, right? The UN is
Or
reporting that
sympathetic
there's
to
20.
Or
The UN is
sympathetic.
reporting
Hang on,
that there's 20
slowly.
to 40,000
Hey.
members of Hamas. Now she also told me that there's 2 million Gazans.
All right,
And
do you
you
want to
say, okay, about half of them
do you want to go
are
one
men.
point at a time?
So you're telling me that the Israeli army is
Othello, you're
a
going too
million
fast.
people right now.
Hang on, Othello, you're going too fast. Go one point at a time. One point at a time. Yes. Most people in Gaza, say 70% or so, are sympathetic to Hamas or would vote for Hamas. Is that your question, Othello?
No, she said.
Okay.
She
Don't
said-
worry about what anybody individual says. What point are you trying to make?
What I'm trying to make is she's saying most of the men
Yeah.
in Gaza are Hamas.
Yeah, okay. And so you have a question about it or what?
No, because the UN already gave the number. There's 20,000 to 40,000 Hamas members. So it
I
can't
think they're talking about active fighters. That's the distinction. And we're talking about people who are also politically sympathetic. The same way
Supporters, they need to be enlisted.
the same way people joined the Nazi Party, even though they weren't necessarily fighting in the Nazi armies. It's sort of a
if they're
similar
not
thing.
fighting and they die,
Yeah.
you say you can thus use propaganda and say that they were militant.
No,
You can give
no,
them that
no,
title,
no, no,
even
not,
though
you
they're
don't
not
need
fighting.
to. You don't need to say
Even
that.
though they're not fighting.
You don't need to say that. So people die in war, and there's collateral damage. And when the military embeds its assets in civilian areas, that maximizes the numbers of civilian deaths by design of the terrorists. Are you with me so far?
I'm here with you, but what I'm saying is
Okay.
her propaganda
So which part
does not fit.
did you understand what I just said, though?
I know what you're saying.
Okay, do
And
you
I agree.
dispute it? Okay,
When
we agree.
get to the numbers, when we get to the numbers, they don't add up.
Okay, we're talking about two different categories of people, fighters and civilians who are sympathetic to Hamas. The big problem is the fighters. Now, the weird thing is that they will pass the weapons off to anybody around. For example, you go into an apartment and the father will hand off the gun to the wife and the wife will hand off the gun to the kid. And who do you shoot at that point? That's a bit of a
I
problem.
mean, yeah, bombs are headed in their way. You got to protect what you got to protect at that point. Once they kick in your door, waving the 4-4,
Okay.
all bets are off.
So then they're not civilians anymore. So they're not civilians anymore.
They are civilians.
Well, not if they're holding a gun. If you're holding a gun, you're no longer a civilian. And let me give you some more. Wait, hang on. If you're holding a gun, you're not a civilian. You're a combatant. That's the law. But moreover, our friend learned on this app, who you could meet yourself, was kept in a civilian home. So now we have civilians who are holding hostages. That also makes them a legal target and a combatant. You still with me?
That's right.
Listen,
I'm listening.
there's not 900,000 members of Hamas and 900,000 militant men.
This
Okay,
guy is
fine.
retarded.
There's not. So what's your point?
She said that most of the men in Gaza, she
Yeah.
said all of the men in Gaza are militant. Let's just say 98% of the men in Gaza
Let's
are
call it
militant.
80%. Let's say it's 80%, which seems
It's not
accurate.
80%.
Well, that's what the polls tell us. So I don't know how.
Tell us.
It's what the polls tell us, that about 80% is sympathetic or voted for Hamas and favor Hamas. Because remember, Hamas is also a political organization. They control every aspect of life. Every picture taken has to be approved by them. Every line of copy that comes out from any journalist has to be approved by them. Every time you pay for something, you got to pay them a tax. Every time you eat. Yeah. Did you hear what I said, though? They control every aspect of civilian life.
Hamas really had 900,000 people,
Yeah.
militant people at their whim that they could
Yeah.
train up,
Yeah.
then it would be a different story.
Okay,
It's
you're
not
getting
that.
a little
It's
stuck
20
on the
to 40
900.
It's 20 to 40,000 members.
Well, it depends
And
on
that's
who.
not most men in
That
Gaza.
means that's not members. You're not making the distinction between political Hamas and army Hamas.
40,000 members
Why
are
is that?
the ones that have gotten killed during
Why are you
the
laughing,
war.
Othello? Why are you laughing?
Because there's only 20 to 40,000 members of
Oh my God! Yeah,
Well,
and
according to one
you think
calculation,
that the UN has access to the records of who is
The
Hamas?
UN
and
gets
who
the
is
info
not?
from
You
Hamas.
think you do? But you were just going off the UN. You were just
The
going
UN
off the UN.
the UN gets their info
That's
from
what I'm saying.
Hamas.
One day you like the UN.
I don't
No,
think you
I
have
don't
a-
like the
Support your
UN,
narrative.
but
One
you,
day
I
to
mean,
support your narrative, you use it.
no. I
I
don't
don't
like
think
the
you
UN.
have I honestly don't think you have a point, Othello.
I do have a
Yeah,
point.
All right, let's hear your
She
point.
said,
Regardless,
she said that she lied. She
never
said,
mind she. Never mind
No,
she.
no,
What is
no,
your
no, no,
point?
no, no. I was responding to
I
her,
am
not you.
about
Okay,
to
never
get
mind her point.
kicked.
What do you have anything to say other than you
No,
disagree with
don't
Issa?
interrupt me.
I'm not
was speaking
interrupting
to her, and I was speaking to her
Okay.
point. If her point
Okay.
is wrong, then
All right.
say
So
it.
we're done with that. We're done with her point. You disagree with her point. Great.
If her point is wrong, then say it, Norm. Say
Okay.
it. Say it.
I'm not
She was
making
wrong.
her point.
She
I'm
was
not
wrong.
making. You don't understand her point.
I
So
So
said
you're
those
creating.
of
You're
the
creating.
men,
You're
adult
creating a straw man from her point.
Correct.
No.
No.
And
Yes.
Norm
Yes.
even talked to you and said 70 or 80% of the men are,
According to
of
polling.
the whole population, are Hamas supporters.
And men and women.
They're
Men
not
and women.
militant.
But we don't know if they're militant or not.
They're not
That,
militant.
leaves,
We
that
can't
remains
say
to
that
be
because
seen.
there
No,
was
that's
an
propaganda. That's where the
election.
We don't know.
No, it's
Again,
not propaganda.
Again,
Propaganda.
again, Othello,
They're not-
It's
Othello.
not propaganda. It's called
Othello.
election
If
statistics.
they had access to
He said they're
900,000
not
men,
militant.
then they would have trained them.
Okay.
Trust me.
No, they are
Yeah,
not
trust me.
enlisted. You idiot! Is what I've been trying to tell you.
If they had access
It's
to
not
900,000,
like a normal military
Othello,
where you go and enlist.
it doesn't matter what Issa says or I say. Neither you nor I know exactly how many Hamas there are, and they're not letting us know.
Nobody.
What we do
knows.
know is that we're
point
fighting
is
them.
wrong.
Now,
It cannot be
regardless.
proven. Her
What's
point is
that?
wrong. That's the whole
Okay,
thing.
fine, fine. You
She's
disagree with her
wrong,
point.
and
Great.
it
You
cannot
disagree.
be proven.
Great. You're
She
not
lied.
winning any. Great.
She lied.
She didn't lie. You just
She
disagree
lied
with
to the
her.
room.
No, you just disagree
I
with
didn't
her.
lie to
She
you.
lied
The point
to
is,
the room.
I am
no, you
explaining
just
to you the
disagree with her.
numbers and how the logic works. Now, if you don't agree with that, that's another story. But I'm
So
not
You
you're-
don't
trying
even
welcome
have
to-
the numbers. You don't even
You're
know how
welcome
many
to
men in
agree or
Gaza
disagree.
there are. You
All
don't
right.
even have
Okay,
the numbers.
I'm ready to send him down. He's
You're-
fixated on you. You got
Yeah,
to.
me
You're trying to,
You-
you're
you
trying
haven't
to
eaten
moonlight
it.
as some
Othello,
intellectual. You don't
Othello,
even have the numbers.
Othello, with
You're
Issa
trying to
aside,
pretend that you're some intellectual. You don't have
she's
the
an
data.
intellectual. She's
You
an
don't
intellectual.
have the data.
Everybody say goodbye to Othello.
What are you lying about?
Everything.
Everything.
I'm a liar.
She's not really a virgin. I heard it from
Yeah,
excellent
that's
authority.
What
But
it
you
doesn't
can
take
become a
into
virgin again.
account
What's that?
is that Hamas has total control over all of the education of the children, and they basically are raising these children to be soldiers, and they have been since 2006. In their videos that they put out themselves, and including videos of Sinwar giving weapons to children as early as age 6.
Unfortunately, you're 100% correct.
So a couple of things here that I've like witnessed. I was listening I was hoping you'd get through, Issa. I knew there was one more point you needed to go. For the record, after you used to spend a night with me by a fire, bearskin
Oh my God, Brad.
she's never going to be a virgin again. I just promise you that.
I cannot believe you pulled the exact same move with me. I can't believe this, Brad.
So,
Does that make us hermanos de leche, Brad?
Oh my God, that's disgusting, Norm.
Gracias.
Ugh.
But I mean,
Anyway.
so the fighting thing. First off, he was going, you don't have 70,000 fighters. We don't know who the fighters are because we don't wage war. They don't wage war that.
They are not enlisted. Like
They're not.
the U.S.
It's not
military.
an army. Yeah, it's not an army we fought. It's the same way we didn't know how many Syrians, how many Iraqis, how many Iranians. We really don't know. The Iranian army we can fight. We can beat. They're easy cake. But to go in and go door to door to fight like insurgents, we have no idea. We don't know if a woman is actually pregnant or carrying C4. You can't distinguish between those. So combatants in an area have changed. The rules have changed, mostly due to some of the IRA's fault and some of the Middle East fault. Like we can call it for what it is. This is what happens when you change the way wars are conducted, which has happened throughout centuries. Now, we don't know who's the enemy combatant on a male side or a female side, and so we label all of them potential combatants because that's what they are. And since you have their terror cells or groups hiding amongst the population, that population, unless they're waving a white flag going, hey, IDF, they're here, it's not going to matter at this point. People always pay for wars. Look at World War II, look at the civilian damages throughout Europe, and you'll actually understand a little bit more common sense about how wars are conducted throughout the world.
And the thing is that you just need to kind of like extrapolate, right, data. So what I was telling him is, okay, so roughly 50% of population is divided between men and women. Okay, so if there are 2 million Gazans, whatever it is, so you have like 600,000 women and 600,000 men. Now, based on that, and in Gaza, I think that it would be less because there are a lot of combatants and people that have died in war and whatever. So I bet that there must be less men than women. So, but let's say 600,000. From that, you need to take out, of course, children and men that are of an old age. Gaza has got a very, very young population, so there are many children. So when you take all of these numbers, then you remain with a percentage of men, and you need to take from there also deduct the people that are officially enlisted in Hamas. But then with whatever is left afterwards, you have a lot of supporters. As Norm said, about 70-80% of the population is supportive of Hamas, of the whole population. So that leaves you with a smaller number than 600,000, but it's still a large number. And when you take into consideration that most of the men are supporting of Hamas, they don't need to be enlisted. They just need to throw a stone or present aggressive towards the military that is securing the areas, and then they will be considered a militant. And to what Sam was saying, Hamas is the government. They're in charge of the education system. If you have seen the programs, the TV shows that they show to children when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, and how they teach them to do math with Jews, like, oh, if I have 5 Jews and I kill 2 Jews, how many Jews do I have left? I mean, these people are indoctrinated. So yeah, men that grow up, they are already ready to fight, and that is part of the strategy. You don't need to be part of the military. You just need to be willing to die for them.
And I'm just going to say this. The woman that is both Irish and Jewish by injection isn't wrong about her statement. So I'm just letting you guys know, like, she's actually pulling facts. And Issa doesn't care one way or the other. She's not on one side particularly or the other. She's just more about the factual base. She would call it for what it is.
People don't.
No, and then when what I was saying about the UN numbers is when you look at the raw data that Hamas is reporting, these are Hamas numbers, and you see the whole amount of people that have died, and then you cross-check it with what IDF is claiming. So the vast majority of of men that have been killed are reported as combatants. So that means that when you focus on the civilian numbers, you will find almost no men there because they have been reported as combatants. So if there are no men or barely any men in the list of civilians, then yes, you will have percentages of 80% or 70% of women and children because it's the leftovers. But then when you realize that out of 40,000 people that have died, 20% 20,000, so 50% have been reported as combatants, then yeah, the other 20,000 that have been killed are women and children. And that's when they say, oh my God, look, most of the civilians or 80% of the civilians that have been killed are women and children. How dare they? Well, because there are no men accounted in the civilians. So that's the reason why you're able to play with statistics. And when you have the raw data, you can always create a narrative that is convenient to you. But you can also be a critical thinker and try to make your sense on your own of the data you're looking at. But that's too much work for Othello. Othello prefers that somebody tells him what the data means.
I invited him to the state.
They just removed him down, so don't do that. But the other thing that I have, the other thing that I have an issue with is when we have these whole debates is, why is it that you never talk about, like, no one ever brings up in these, like, oh, Israel's doing this and all this stuff. You don't talk about the Palestine that exist within Israel, the citizens there. Or you don't talk about the Christian ones that had to flee, or the 500,000 that are parked their asses in Chile and other places around the world because they were being persecuted by, guess who? Fucking Hamas itself. So, I mean, like the whole PA didn't even like that. So they all fled during that time. So I'm kind of confused by, like, why you're cheering on this whole narrative when you have all these other outside sources and you have this history of going through where they tried to topple Kuwait, they tried to topple Jordan, the fucking Egypt spent 50 years fucking trying to get rid of them. I mean, the whole Hamas thing, the whole fucking Muslim Brotherhood shit. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, like, at least get your facts right before you go on stage and go after someone like Norm or Issa and Daniel who done this shit.
But it's also the logic. These guys are just consuming and swallowing whatever the TV has chewed for them. And whatever they say, they come and repeat. Another thing is that you need to see the demographics and you need to understand the culture of these places. When you're looking at statistics where they claim that anyone from 18 years old and under is classified as a child, that is not how this society works. In this society, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, even probably younger than that, they are already being taught how to deceive the enemy and how to provoke the enemy and how it is noble to die for the cause. So when you have these teenagers, that are already playing a role in the war, you cannot report them as quote-unquote innocent children. They are already combatants. So you also need to take that into consideration. So it's not just about the plain numbers. There is a logic or a reasoning behind reading the numbers.
Yeah, these people are playing by a different paradigm than people in the West are. They don't understand that they don't really have free choice or free will because their will is the will of the state or the people who control the state, which in this case is Hamas. So the vast majority of the people, and not only are they controlling them intellectually but emotionally through religion. So they give them their religion, they give them their identity, they give them their marching orders, and this is the reality of the culture and the nature of Hamas.
And not only that, but we're talking about a culture that is taught that dying for a cause or a war in the name of the religion is something virtuous and that will get you to paradise. So for them, dying is not a punishment. it is a religion that worships death, or an ideology that worships death. So if they put themselves in the face of death, they are doing something virtuous. So when you talk about a population of civilians, that if you were talking about civilians that are trying to run for their lives, that's another thing, another complete different situation than when you're facing civilians that are willing to sacrifice their lives and putting themselves in danger just in order to prove a point or to achieve an objective. So yeah, the IDF, it doesn't matter how much they tell them when they're going to bomb a building or when they're going into a specific area and they give them enough time in advance, a lot of them decide to risk their lives and die for the cause.
And they have a word for it. It's called the Shahid.
Yeah. I don't know, like all of these facts take into consideration, and it's useful to try to make sense of the data. The data is not just like straightforward. The data helps you tell a story, but you decide what story you're going to tell. Othello, it just needs to go back to school. It's like he didn't hear anything. Or maybe he did, but his little peanut brain cannot process it. Yes, the room is over my head, and you are also over my head. The hospital bombing was pretty bad. Oh my god.
You know, you guys spend so much time talking about Israel. I'd like to read you a poem because you know you got a lot of drama and a lot of gossip you're talking about all the time. It's a lot of anxiety to talk about all this gossip and drama and murder and terrorism. It's very stressful to listen to all of this stressful topic. I want to read the poem to the room.
No poems. Why don't you tell me about the drama you were involved in, about the doxing?
The drama about the doxing, you're trying to stir the pot. That's what you're doing best. You're cooking a pot of soup, and that's called a Guatemalan watermelon. It's not a good soup.
I heard a little bit through your YouTube channel, like 10 minutes of it, and yeah, I'm wondering what happened.
Well, the best way to explain it is I'll put the link in the chat.
Just make sure the link has data, okay?
No problem. You know, people like to stir the pot, but so, you know, if I gotta stir the pot and make the soup, nobody likes my soup.
Hey, baby.
Hello, Norm. Or Expo.
No, this guy sounds like Norm.
Who's Norm?
Up above your head.
Okay. Hello, I'm normal. I'm myself. So, I'm interested, guys. I just want to say my perspective about what's going on in this area, the bomb, and I am interested to know your feedback. Is it correct?
Just go ahead. If you have to ask for permission, you're going to bore everyone.
Yeah, like, I see that the things that happened, like, the 7th of October and what the militias or Hamas or whatever you call them did to Israel, it's just like it's just a play that Israel made, indirectly of course, that is they are trying to getting any cause or reason for them to like kill Palestinians or remove them from the place, just like Hitler did when he was trying to have a war with a different country. He was wearing one of the Germans or one of the prisoners as a like the other country's hat or the country that he wanted to invade, and he said that they are invading us or they are shooting us or they are killing us. So all of what happened is just like an indirect way of Israel to have a reason for to killing Palestinians or to remove them from the land. What do you think about this?
So you want for Palestinians to stay in those conditions and live there while they reconstruct? Is that what you want?
It doesn't matter. I don't know Palestinians. I don't mean.
I mean, you are from Egypt, right? I mean, like, if you care so much about the Palestinians, why haven't you allowed them to flee to Egypt?
That's not my topic, my dear. I just was talking about something, and I want to know what you think about it. You know, do you think is it real or is it not? I don't know if you even got it, but I'm saying that this is just a play by Israel indirectly for getting a reason to go the Palestinians or to remove them from the land.
So you think that Israel sacrificed 1,200 people of their own just to get to clean?
Yeah.
So stupid.
But meanwhile, we fight for 2 years to get our people back. Come on,
yeah, they're sacrificing their own people. Yeah, Israel is holocosting their own people.
Right, and that's so we can go and get them back. And by the way, everybody knows everybody in Israel. It's a small country. So don't you think we would know who's doing what, when, where, why, and how? It's only 10 million people in the country. 20% of which don't fight in the army.
So the Arab mind is such that generally they cannot think without thinking about prophecy or biblical or some sort of spiritual text, and without taking in whatever person's actions, right? So they always think that Israel's actions are biblically motivated. This is why they have to get rid of the Palestinians so they can build a greater Israel. So it's all about the Jews taking over land, more and more land, for them to have some sort of weird biblical conspiracy.
Not at all, actually. Israel are not a religious country. It's secular. So I'm not talking about this.
So why do you think they want to get rid of? Why do you think they need to get rid of the Gazans?
Can you get close to your microphone, Kareem?
Yeah, sorry, I put my headphones. I cannot hear you guys. I'm talking at the same time without them. But what I'm saying that the government doesn't care about the civilians. And
what government doesn't care about the civilians?
Yeah, what government?
The Israeli government
Doesn't care about what civilians?
Yeah, you guys, Israel.
That Israel government doesn't care about the Israelis.
If they don't care, if we don't like the job, it's a democracy. We just vote them out of office. 1, 2, 3. Vote of no confidence.
That's what you see, but indirectly.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
we have Israelis in the room. That's the way democracies work. I know you're not familiar with democracy, but that's the truth. If we don't like Bibi, we vote him out. Vote of no confidence, we put somebody else in. A lot of people want the job.
Democracy is a fraud.
No, it's not a fraud. There's nothing fraudulent about democracy. Why is democracy a fraud? Why is democracy a fraud?
It's just
because you don't have democracy?
Just small choices.
Okay, why is that a fraud? Sure.
Can you be a president?
Yes, I could be a president.
Democracy is a philosophy, you schmuck. It's not literal, it's a concept, you idiot. You're a fraud, Kareem. You're projecting.
Kareem, why do you say democracy is a fraud? I don't get it. You know what democracy means? It means we elect people to represent our interests. If they don't represent our interests, okay, if they don't represent our interests, we vote them out. We don't vote for them again. How hard is this?
There's a trend of Muslims on Clubhouse saying that democracy is a fraud and it really doesn't exist. However, those same people also use democracy when it's convenient for them.
That's the Muslim way. That is the way of a Mohammedan, an Islamist, a terrorist.
Wait a second.
Man, I'm not even a Muslim.
Congressman, what are you trying to say about democracy? Again, what are you trying to say?
Well,
it's the best system we have.
Well, nationalism, democracy, revolution. Like, how do you look at the French Revolution and say that
I want to see what this guy is saying. I don't want to go off on a tangent. What are you saying, Kareem? We had a fellow up here. He had no point.
I'm saying that the government is led unconsciously by like kind of, I don't know what people are leading the government or whatever, but what they saying for you guys is not what is really happening.
The government that could be true in Egypt. It's not as so much true in the United States, and it's even less true in Israel because Israel is a tiny country with a lot of different parties, and everybody has to get to know each other in order to form a coalition. So it's pretty clear who believes what in Israel. Again, everybody serves in the army. Everybody lives next to each other. It's only the size of New Jersey, and people live a long time, so that you get to know everybody. So I don't think your point really holds
Kareem is
water.
criticizing the simulation or the communication network.
Wait a second, John. We're having a different conversation here. Okay, Kareem. So again, you don't trust your government. That's one thing. But to the extent possible, take a look at the wealth that's been created in Israel in the past 20 years. I think its economy is quadrupled thanks to deregulation and the technology boom. So the abundance of Israel has been increasing steadily, as has the abundance of the United States. So we're pretty happy with our government. We have pretty good health care. We have pretty good education. We have pretty good military. We don't get taken over by other people. Those are good things. Those are good successes from the government.
Also, it's not like Israelis or even Jews are like a monolith and you all guys think the same. Like, there's so many people disagreeing.
Yeah, there are big differences.
But Norm, the country's $37 trillion in debt. How's that successful? That's not success.
They say that if you put 10 Jews in a room, you will get out 12 different opinions.
It's true.
Well, you can't really.
Government isn't perfect, but it's the best that we can do given the
There is no perfect government ever, nowhere.
That's correct.
Where? Where is a perfect government, Kareem?
That's correct.
There is no such a thing as, like, it's not coming along like government and perfect, because government is built on, like,
people.
The government doesn't care about the people, they care about the system.
Government is the people.
I see it differently.
Okay. How do you see it differently? You have people, they get up, they go to school,
the system.
they run for office, they get elected to office by other people. If they do a bad job, then we get rid of them. That's the way it works in a democracy.
Like this.
Well, that's the way it works. That's the way it works in our system. I don't know about your system. I'm not that familiar with.
I'm not talking about Egypt or.
What do you know about the other countries? What makes you think you know about that?
All of what I'm trying to say, the system itself doesn't care about the civilians or the followers of it. It cares about having more followers and trying to ignite more fights within the followers or with
what's the basis of
there
that?
Might be, okay, hold on. There might be
What's the
some
basis
truth.
of this?
Hold on. There might be some truth on that, but if you are, even if you accept that that's the purpose of it, don't you think that then your logic on the other claim falls? I mean, like, if the government really wants to get more likes and more followers, why in the hell would they sacrifice 1,200 people of their own? How do you think that they're going to get more followers doing that? That would be stupid, don't you think?
they are getting right now.
How many people are part of your conspiracy? One person, 100 people? How many people are in on your secret that you made up out of your head?
Didn't mean anything. That's how I think.
Yeah, you made it up.
Well, not so fast, though, Norma. Mikhail.
No, hold on. It's not that he made it up. He's trying to do kind of like a thought experiment, let's say, saying, oh, well, yeah, you know, Israel might be sacrificing their own people so that they have got that they have got the right justification to clean up Gaza. But now I am trying to make you think about what you're saying. Let's go with the claim. Let's say that that's true. When you start asking the other questions around that claim, it doesn't make any sense. So that means that your claim might not be logical. So if you're claiming that they're doing this in order to gain approval or gain followers or gain whatever because they don't care about the people, they just care about the followers, how exactly would killing 1,200 of your people gain you more followers? That would be a very bad strategy.
I think he's speaking generally, Isa.
If the actual goal were to clean up Gaza, then don't you think that they could have done it similar way? I mean, like, they have got the technology, they have got the support, they have got everything. Why would they need to sacrifice 1,200 of their people?
We could just drop a bomb on Gaza.
Exactly. Like, if what you're saying is true, they wouldn't have to go through this. They could do it without killing their own people.
What is the?
And that's what
What is the
point?
point?
Like, for you to think about your own claim.
I didn't continue what I'm saying. I was trying to say that any system in the world, not just Israel, is trying to do. It's like have two logs. More followers they are trying to reach, and more fights.
And do you see what's happening to Israel right now? Do you think that they're winning the public opinion war? Because I think that they're losing it. I mean, a lot of people are against Israel, so how exactly? They're very bad strategists. You know, according to you, this is gonna make them stronger. And it's bullshit. It's not making them stronger.
The war make the system stronger. Whether it's revolution or whether it's war with
you're seeing a lot of people hating on Israel. A lot of the younger generations that are going to be leaders of tomorrow, they're hating on Israel right now. They will be against Israel in a couple of decades. So why do you think that Israel will want that? It's stupid.
That's what the system wants, because the bad energy, or the kind of the negative energy, the system lives on it, like psychologically and energetically, because I believe in the both, the material and the non-material way. So
you're not saying anything. But Karim, there are two options. Either Israel is the biggest evil, or they are the dumbest. Hold on, they are the dumbest, but they cannot be the two at the same time. You gotta pick one. If they're the biggest evil, it would be like ridiculous that they went this way. They get over it, you know. Now, if they're stupid, then it doesn't make sense, Karim.
Israel is just one government, and thousands of governments or systems that have been on this earth, and it's just the same stories happen again and again. I don't have anything other to say. I just want to go with the audience. And as the Sefer Kodesh says, ما شاء وشيء ما شاء الناس وشيء ونقول هذا شيء. Bye bye, guys. Was that Japanese?
What?
Was that Japanese?
No, it was a Jew.
Wow, look what somebody wrote in the chat. Isa's not looking for a counterpoint. She's looking for confirmation of her bias.
Johnny, Appleseed. That's okay. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm not saying that I am completely right, but I am explaining my thought process. And you guys are just coming here to repeat what somebody else gave you. And none of you are actually addressing the points that I'm trying to make with my logic. It might be faulty. I don't care. But you're not.
No, you're good, Isa. Everything you said to that guy is right.
Hey, Mikhail, did you miss me?
I always miss you.
Aw.
Like the clouds of probability that make up our universe, Isa. It's never a certain.
Anyway.
Never have so many meaningless words be strung together in a simulation of a sentence.
That's true. But yeah, listen, like the conversation with Othello, right? Like, I was just explaining how I came up with the logic I was presenting. I might be wrong, but he was not addressing the things that he thought I was wrong. He was just spewing more narratives that he already heard. He was not thinking with me. He just wanted to like say, oh, is this wrong? Is this wrong? Is this wrong? But he didn't want to explain how I was wrong or where my logic was faulty. Like, I don't mind if I am wrong. If you can show me that I am doing a bad reasoning, then show me, and I might say, oh yeah, you're right on this.
Not everything's a conspiracy. You're right.
It's always it always comes down to, are people stupid or are they bad? Usually they're just stupid. I think in the case of the Palestinians, unfortunately, they're stupid. They make terrible decisions that have led to their own destruction. And sure, the whole world loves a loser and feels sorry for somebody who claims to be oppressed. But how long is that going to last? Well, once Gaza is gone, it's gone. You think it's just going to come back? It's not going to come back. They brought death into. They tried to wipe out the Jewish state, and they ended up wiping out themselves. It's a classic story.
Yeah. I don't know, like people here in Clubhouse, they don't come to actually have a conversation. It's just a matter of like, okay, let me see if I am able to sound smarter than you, and if I can ask questions that you cannot answer. It's not about like, okay, let's reason together and let's see where we get, you know?
I mean, if you feel like you're the odd one out in this kind of mentality, then maybe it's your surrounding, don't you think?
No, well, yeah, of course. I mean, like my surrounding in Clubhouse is a lot of retarded people. I mean, I'm aware of that. And because I hang out with Jewish friends, they're always followed by Jewish hating people that are coming here just to spew a lot of like, I don't know, annoying claims just to trigger them, because that's the purpose. The purpose is not to talk. It's just to like throw jabs to see if they can get them triggered. And a lot of them fall for it.
Well, yeah, you gotta definitely pick who you talk to, for sure.
Yeah, that's the reason why I am not being patient anymore with the retards that come in the room just to yell. It's annoying.
Yeah. A delicate being like yourself should not subjugate herself to that.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
You're being very decent today. Why are you not yelling?
You meant to say subject, not subjugate, by the way.
No, subjugated.
No, he didn't mean subjugate, he meant subject.
Subjected.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Mikkel? Have you been hanging out with Amir?
Amir, they don't like each other anymore.
No, Amir had.
Oh, you guys don't like him?
Has been blocked for a very long time now.
He got thrown out for
Just kind of
screaming.
petty. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's because you were screaming the N-word for hours at a time. He got sick of it.
Well, I mean, when you
like
see
3 days
Black
in a row.
Rabbi, how can you help yourself? Like, how can you not?
A normal
help
person
yourself?
can help themselves.
I don't know.
Yeah. Are you saying
Such
you're not in control?
easy, like,
Are you
dart
saying you
to
are
throw.
not in control of your nervous system, Mikkel?
Sometimes you gotta indulge, Isa.
You know that not be. I mean, like women are the ones supposed to be very emotional.
Indulgence doesn't. I mean, you could say indulgence is emotional, sure. I mean, men like to indulge too. It's like there's a moment where you're having a serious conversation, Isa, and then there's a moment where, you know, it's a food fight. And when you're in a food fight, there's no point of, I don't know if you've been in an American, like, school food fight. I've been in a food fight, and that's it. Like, all reason flies out the window. It's just, you know, it's a food fight. So, indulge,
Yeah, well, that's
just
the
enjoy
thing.
the
I have
moment.
never
You know
even
everybody's screwed after. You know the principal's gonna come in, and you know everything's gonna go to shit anyway, so.
You know, that's the thing. I have not even put myself in a position of being in the middle of a food fight. If you put yourself in the situation where you're in the middle of a food fight, you're an idiot.
I mean, that's the American experience. I don't know. It's just like chaos is. You can't expect everybody to be on the same page. Like, it's just sometimes it's just a shit show, and you're in the middle of a shit show, and enjoy it. It's part of the human experience.
They're having a food fight in Gaza.
It's kind of interesting. I think he's projecting a little bit. It takes a piece of shit to know a piece of shit, is what this piece of shit's saying.
Seems a little judgmental.
I'm just saying, if you smell a turd or a fart, you might smell Mikhail.
I'll agree on that one. We all got a piece of shit in us.
But we didn't say
Let the piece of shit come out every now and then. Just don't let the piece of shit take over yourself, right, John? Like, just don't become the piece of shit.
Yeah, don't be a terrorist. Treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated. Don't go to the Supernova Fest or any kind of concert and hurt anybody and be a piece of shit. Because that's what piece of shit murderer losers who face justice and ultimately get destroyed. You killed by the sword, you'll die by the sword. If you're a piece of shit, you're going to get flushed.
I absolutely agree with that logic. If you are a piece of shit, you're gonna get flushed. And, coming in and being the first terrorist in the Middle East and killing people for the sake of cleansing them to establish some sort of Nazi ethno-state in a territory that has 400 million Arabs isn't really the smartest idea. Piece of shit idea is just get flushed down the toilet eventually.
You ever notice nobody buys your nonsense story, that it's at odds with reality? Reality does exist, Mikhail. And people can open their eyes and see it. Not everybody is so married to this delusional bullshit that you're spouting. Some people just have to open their eyes. The first terrorist in the Middle East. Who puts on suicide vests and blows themselves up? Who puts suicide vests on children? Who brings the kind of death and destruction that you see in Gaza upon their own people? Who builds 500 kilometers of tunnels and then doesn't let one single child come down into the tunnel? Why is that? They say they care about their children. How about letting them down into the 500 kilometers of tunnel? I mean, make it make sense, man. Don't you think at some point there's somebody who's able to think their way through this? No? You think everybody's just going to buy a bunch of bullshit? The children, the children! You think that's enough of an argument? The first terrorists! They took our land! Really?
Well, he's doing history revision. He's a history hypnotist, El Normo.
How much reparations do you want in your California home? If you're a citizen of California, how the hell are you a refugee? Make it make sense, man.
He lived through the Nakba, El Normo. He's a victim himself.
Stop talking. Maybe take a breather there, Norm. Maybe we can make
Nobody
it make
was
sense
talking
for
to
you,
us now,
but,
were they?
we've tried
I know the meta. I know it.
Mikhail is a history hypnotist.
Play victim,
just breathe, bro. Breathe.
Play victim, be butthurt.
And then he starts singing. Look at this guy.
Talk about Norm.
What is this emotional train wreck that these people become? Like, logic and reason. No wonder she has to leave,
Yeah, Mikhail.
Because you guys aren't logical and reasonable.
I got Mikhail. I made a bunch of... Easy, Mikhail. Don't get flipped out.
Look at this lunatic.
Easy, Mikhail. Easy.
Can't stop talking.
Don't flip out, Mikhail. You're going to be okay.
No, you're just fine.
It's all going to be fine. You're about to lose Gaza City. You're going to have one of two choices. You're either going to give back all the terrorists. Yes, we've been seeing, haven't we? We've been seeing. Surely you don't think that this is your point. We've been seeing, right. And yet, what's going to happen next in Gaza? What do you think?
September 22nd.
What do you think is going to happen?
September 22nd.
What do you think is going to happen? Yeah. What about September 22nd?
Yeah.
What about September 22nd?
I gotta thank Netanyahu.
What about
If I knew a war was gonna get us global recognition,
do you?
like
You have nothing
this
to say.
fast, I would have done a war a long time
You
ago.
have nothing. Okay. All right.
El Normo, he's a history revisionist.
Nothing new will happen. You're going to be safe in California, and we're going to get our hostages back, dead or alive. And Gaza City is going to fall because your people led you right off a cliff. The same way you run off a cliff every time you talk to me, same exact thing. Right off the cliff.
Some of...
Nothing to say.
El
Nothing to say
Normo.
that, Norm, you're an emotional guy.
El Normo, some of my funniest clips, I have to admit, are listening to you, tease Mikhail. But the problem is nobody wants to have to tease a person to try to get them to see the truth. And, you hear the things he says. I think people should pay attention and listen to what people are saying. He just said we should have started the war sooner. What kind of a mentality is that for a young man on a Thursday evening or a Wednesday evening, while you're supposed to be doing something with your life? Instead, people are sitting here thinking about war and homicide. It's sickening.
What did I say to Mikhail? It's funny. In your clips.
I could play you some clips if you want to hear yourself.
Do you remember anything?
Yeah, you're like baby talking.
I guess you could play it.
There's a lot of El Normo clips on YouTube. You just type in El Normo Clubhouse, and there you go. The best of El Normo.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I've sent you many.
I'm not very vain because I don't even go.
I know, it's because you're too busy having fun. Nobody cares about this stuff.
Too busy having fun. I don't know why Issa left.
She got her dopamine fill. Okay, this is Soren versus El Normo.
Okay, you don't mean Mikhail, you mean Soren. Okay, go ahead.
It's English. Do you know English, Puria? Have you forgotten it? What does it say about you? I say, hey, Puria, who are you? And you go, come on, Puria. When did that ever work? I go, Puria, what kind of work do you do? There's Israel and NBC and CBS. But who's Puria? Who's Puria? Don't hold back.
Wait, let me find the Mikhail one.
No, that doesn't sound that great to me.
The thing is, I think you have to eventually come to the conclusion, El Normo, that it's a comedy and a tragedy. But, Clubhouse is actually more comedy than it is tragedy. And, as long as nobody personally gets hurt here, or people don't make threats of violence, like, pretty much everything is open except for other illegal topics of discussion. But, I don't know, to me it's just funny hearing all these conversations and, in hindsight, or listening to a clip of you, have a debate with somebody. Because you spend a lot of time and they spend a lot of time and they enjoy it when you give them the El Normo effect.
Well, how would you describe the El Normo effect?
I mean, you can just...
Humiliating them?
Well, you have a better and more accurate history as opposed to what they're saying. Plus, you don't make homicidal ideation, terrorist death threats. So there's a big difference in what you're doing versus what they're doing. I mean, you're playing the role of the defender of Israel and its legitimacy and in the pursuit of justice. So they don't have anything to really stand on. So thus it becomes more of a comedy show or a roast show.
They want to kill Jews. And pretend that they're not. But it's kind of obvious that they are.
It's insane comedy, because you could be more legalistic, but, that's not your personality. You're a funny, friendly, social person. And these are people making death threats against you and, your brothers and sisters and your cousins and your aunts and uncles. So these are sick people. And they've been doing it for years on this app. And I report them to the FBI now. I want people to know that there are these little hate spaces on this app of terrorist promoters and terrorist supporters.
Well, it's easy enough to report them to the FBI if that's what you want to do.
Well, nobody's taking any action. Clubhouse doesn't shut their accounts off, doesn't close the rooms and houses. So, I don't have much hope for the correct censorship that should be in place.
You should send me a link to Amir's room because I don't see it and I have to assume that he's blocking me. It's the only explanation.
Yeah.
Unless you know of another one.
No, I mean, all you have to do is get anonymous on a separate account, and you can find the room again. I don't know what to tell you. I can send you a link.
You want me to buy a phone?
No, you can. Well, yeah, you're gonna need a second phone, and then you just get a 30-day plan, or you can use Text Now, or and just get a burner account, telephone number for $1.99, and set up a new Clubhouse account.
Yeah, you can use the Google phone, I think, or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
you can use Google Phone too.
Yeah, Google Talk. We don't have it in Israel, but you have it in America, and he probably is blocking you. What you can do, the way to check it is to go to his house, like search for his house. If you can see the room in there, click it. If you click it and it doesn't let you go in, then you're blocked.
I think I'm thrown out of the house. I don't even think I can see the house.
I mean, here, hold
Yeah,
on.
you're blocked. He says you're blocked.
I mean, the only Amir's house that I see is Shookie's.
Well, the point is, having these conversations at this point, after many, many years, is rather redundant, duplicative, and a waste of time. But recording them actually saying horrifically vulgar, disgusting, despicable things is the ultimate delight, because that's the raw, unfettered, not redacted.
Hang on 1 second. I want to get a logistical. Okay, I see the house now with 7,500 members, and I see the room.
Now click the room. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Oh no, he's back in that.
So this is Barely Friends.
Okay, I went into the room, so I'm not blocked.
Oh, wow.
I think it's shadow banned. I think that's the answer.
Oh. Yeah, that could be it. That's how I.
Thank you, Sam.
That's how I found this room. Is I had to type in itty bitty just to find it.
Because it's shadow banned.
It might just be independently shadow banned for you, at the individual algorithm, not
Is that possible?
for everybody. Yeah, I think so. I think it's that customized.
Were you able to get in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not blocked. I guess it's just shadow banned.
The shadow band being that it appears further down, you have to scroll.
Or invisible.
Huh?
Or it's invisible.
The losers in Amir's room yesterday were laughing about a 3-year-old Jewish child who nearly died, I suppose when a piano fell on him or something. And they said, is the piano okay? And they're all sitting there giggling and laughing. Like, what kind of grown men sit there and laugh at, a young person who gets injured? I mean, how big of losers could you really be? And so that's the thing that also makes me angry, is that there are humans this pathetic in reality.
It's projection. They don't really actually care about what's going on. They just think that that's what the quote-unquote Zionists are doing when it comes to Palestinian or Muslim kids. They actually honestly don't care about those children. It's sort of like it's their type of, how do you call this, jihad. This is their jihad.
It is definitely their jihad. I said that exact thing to Amir. And he was very quiet when I said it, because I think he recognized the truth of what I said. You're right. And it's a lot about pride, and it's about the triumph of Islam. And if this continues, Israel's string of victories over the decades, then it can only mean one thing, and that is that God does not favor them. Or at least God does not favor them in this matter. And I think that's very painful to them, and they have to reassure themselves, because it undermines their entire worldview. That's not easy. Like, what if your whole belief system is undermined by contradiction that is there for all of you for everyone to see?
See, I think you might actually be projecting a little bit when you say that, because
which part?
About undermining the legitimacy of your nation, or undermining the credibility of your God. I mean, because the army that wins the battle and wins the war is the army or the general that used super intelligence to win the war. It's basically undermining their intelligence.
if you believe we're in the West and we believe that battles are really and wars are won by um, brains and firepower, but I believe, remember, these guys have no firepower and they're not exactly known for their brains. Not to be cruel or insensitive or even racist, but they have not shown themselves to be the brightest bulb in the marquee. So, I mean, they could have had a state if they wanted a state, as one small example, over and over again, and they wouldn't be in this position. I mean, they could have had airports and seaports and schools, like all the things that you know. They took all this money that we sunk into them, we meaning the West, and they put it all into building those tunnels. The tunnels are they're like one of the great wonders of the modern world. The terror tunnels, 500 kilometers of terror tunnels. Nobody's ever done it. Not Vietnam, which was much bigger. Not, I don't know, pick another group that builds tunnels. Nobody else has built 500 kilometers of tunnels. They did the whole thing for one purpose only, to attack the Jewish state. They didn't even let their own people in the tunnels. Think about that.
They wanted their own people to die.
But just even saying that is mind-boggling, isn't it? When was there? I mean, okay, you had what do they call them again?
It's a war strategy.
You had kamikazes in World War II,
yeah.
But it wasn't the point of the entire Japanese population. It wasn't like they sent their kids into those wooden. Remember, they were also with airplanes, very light.
This is very common in war. Everybody. This is very common. You can look at what the Soviets had to do with their machine gunning, their soldiers that they turned back. I mean, fratricide is a real part of the insanity of war. It's very common in war. It's part of the definition.
Really?
Oh yeah, I guarantee if you look at the top 100 battles in human history, you would see a lot of fratricide.
You mean friendly fire, or you mean deliberate killing, fragging, as we used to say in Vietnam?
I mean that, like, in the World War I trenches, when a French general, ordered 60,000 men to go charge a German position, and 30,000 of them got wiped out. Like, that is incompetence to such a degree, that in a way you could say that's fratricide as well.
Well, maybe this is not really adequate, but that is the way wars were fought then. You run up the hill and some of you get through.
Well, they say psychological. Well, look at Gettysburg. They went up a fucking hill into into reinforced weapons. So, like, I'm saying that people will literally march to their death and force other people to do it on their behalf as well.
So I'm reading a book about the Battle of Gettysburg, and when I said people run up a hill, I was talking about that battle in that hill. And the novel is called Killer Angels, considered the best novel about about the Civil War, and maybe one of the best novels about war, period. So I was talking exactly about what you just said. It's a little scary for both of us, but we're on the same frequency here. And so then I have to repeat. They thought that some of them would get through. Then the general's responsibility was to calculate if enough would get through to win the battle, knowing that many would die. And if you look at the way wars were fought, you know more about this than me, because I think you're trained in war to some extent. Wars were fought, and this is what Russians do as well, by throwing a lot of people at the enemy and hoping that more get through than not, that enough get through to defeat the enemy, knowing that many will die. I don't know what percentage died in that. I forget the name of. Do you remember the name of that hill? I can look it up because.
Well, going back to October 7th, that was an apocalyptic raid. That was an all or nothing suicidal dash of epic proportions, and it caused a great wound. But the blowback, this is what Ron Paul talks about, is the blowback from international intervention. And so when you attack your neighbor, I mean, the thing is, they weren't able to destroy their neighbor, and in the process they got destroyed. So this is what they're living with, and I hope to God they surrender and release the hostages, but chances are they are so, fixated and in a trance, they will not be able to break these people's suicidal intentions, which is just like the Japanese, like you said earlier, the kamikazes. They have the conditioning in them to go all the way to the end, and that's unfortunate.
I don't remember the name of the hill, but it's a famous hill.
Okay, there's the Battle of Bunker Hill, there's the Battle of San Juan Hill, the Battle of Pork Chop Hill, the Battle of Ammunition Hill, the Battle of Hamburger Hill in Vietnam, the Battle of Cemetery Hill, the Battle of Champion Hill, the Battle of Malvern Hill.
I was talking about the Civil War in this case.
Oh, Civil War. Okay, let me do it again.
Well, it's the famous hill that John was talking about. They sent the rebels up. They'd been winning pretty consistently up until that point. They were better fighters, more motivated.
Well, did you? I know you're a filmmaker. Who's the guy who did Full Metal Jacket? Stanley Kubrick. Did you ever see his first film with Kirk Douglas?
Paths of Glory.
Paths of Glory. Like, that's the type of real assholery insanity that a lot of stupid people will do to other people. They victimize their coworkers. They victimize their fellow soldiers into doing dastardly crimes and in the process wiping themselves out. That's stupidity. So what I'm saying, if you know what the word Mossad means in Hebrew, it means supreme intelligence. So the supreme intelligence always supersedes, these more superfluous actions. It was not a victory. I think the thing that Israel should always be concerned about is Pyrrhic victories. Historically speaking, a Pyrrhic victory is what comes about unexpectedly, where you realize, oh shit, was it worth it?
Battle of Champion Hill, Battle of Malvern Hill, Battle of Cemetery Hill, which is the Battle of Gettysburg.
Might be Cemetery Hill because we're talking Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm. There's Oak Hill, and there's Fisher's Hill, Honey Hill, Spring Hill, and there's more. But I have to do something, I don't know, dive deeper in AI mode.
Yeah, downtown Chicago is a gravesite for these soldiers. It's in Lincoln Park. All these Civil War soldiers, who died in these battles. I went to this building downtown once, and I saw all these young people that died in Afghanistan and Iraq, and I was like, my God, was it worth it? These are 18-year-old, 21, 26, 24, 23. Same thing at Yad Vashem in Israel. I think this is what might make Americans angry. And Israel, a lot of people are very envious of Israel, I think is really what the problem is. Because if you go to Yad Vashem, you see the sacrifice and you see what was created with that sacrifice. You go to Afghanistan or Iraq, you don't see some kind of creation with those sacrifices.
Right. Well,
what are we talking about? About the deaths or like
well, we're
aggressive
talking about
and
people,
bloody attacks or what?
The people who engage in suicidal
missions.
Missions, suicide missions. Yeah, I was gonna say suicidal military missions. Yeah, like the kamikazes. And I just want to point out though that John and everybody, the point of October 7th was to ignite the Ring of Fire. Hezbollah was supposed to do the same thing from the north. Hezbollah had a lot of ballistic missiles and other kinds of ordnance that could actually threaten Tel Aviv. They didn't have the chance to deploy them. And they were supposed to overwhelm the missile defense system of Israel and invade from the north and take over cities and take hostages. It was supposed to be the end of Israel. This plan was 10 years in the making and had been published in 2015.
Or more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking into consideration Iran has been orchestrating all of these terrorist groups that have been surrounding Israel.
Did you see the video of the two young Mossad soldiers who got their award for the beeper attack?
No.
Yeah, they wore face masks and they were presented with some kind of national military medal honor because they were the, I guess, either they received it on behalf of the group. I assume they weren't the master planners as a large group, but they
Wow,
received the reward, I assume, on behalf of multiple people.
that's really cool. The arguments of the people against Israel are becoming more and more retarded every time. I heard, I don't even remember who was saying what, but I was looking at watching an interview, and this guy was anti-Israel or pro-Palestine or whatever it is. They're like, yeah, but how do you justify that Israel and Mossad are so intelligent that they can make almost an almost perfect operation with Hezbollah, but cannot actually tackle only the terrorists in Gaza, in Hamas? Like, they should be capable of killing only the Hamas people and not civilians. And like, yeah, I mean, like, why do people have so high expectations from Israel? Like, they
No,
hold
actually,
Israel to different standards than
but
anybody
actually,
else.
the answer is very much there. It's the same IDF that can target like Iranians in their sleep. It's the same IDF that can target Hezbollah in the north. What's different? It's not that the IDF is now like demons and stupid and clumsy. No, it's Hamas that is the difference. The way that Hamas is using their own population. That is the factor that is different, not the IDF.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they want modern standards for a bunch of butchers from the medieval ages who are doing that type of warfare. So they're hypocrites and they're criticizing hypocrites.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, Israel has the responsibility to be extremely surgical and kill only those that are proved to be terrorists belonging to Hamas. And it's like, dude, since when in the middle of war you expect those standards from whoever is attacking? If anything, if you see a ratio, of like civilians against militants, it's like one of the lowest in war.
Well,
It's like,
you would hope that there's a time in human history where we may have weapons, but we are smart enough to know never to use them. But we still may prepare with them. But you know how many people die just preparing for battle? How many people in helicopters and planes tragically die in accidents from, a lot of this equipment doesn't work. And when you go and you really use it, it's a miracle that it even works. The Iran attack, if it was supposedly successful, was a miracle that everything even worked.
you mean like the missiles that Hamas was throwing that would explode in their faces?
Well, you see a lot of missiles that don't actually detonate on impact. So that's the type of example I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
And some of Hamas's missiles landed in Gaza.
Yeah, I know. They killed their own people.
I mean, how many people died in Tel Aviv during the last Iranian, super missile strikes? Because those were really major impacts.
I don't know how many, Daniel, because there were a lot of people injured, but not really a lot of dead people, right? Daniel?
Well, in the hospital now?
No. When the Iranian attacked Israel not long ago, how many people
Like
died?
30, I think. No, no, maybe like 10. Wow, I don't remember anymore. So many numbers. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
You're like a woman.
I don't remember. Like 12 or like.
But I don't think it was like not even over. I mean, definitely not over 100. So it was more in the 10.
No, not over. No, not over 100. Definitely. It's definitely. I'm trying to remember if it's like 10 or if it's like around like 28. For some reason, I have like both numbers in my head.
I thought it was like 76 or something, but I know a major apartment block and a hospital got hit, I believe. But anyways, I'm just saying that's the only time that I've ever seen Israel take a major, smash, and those were really powerful impacts. Like those videos were shocking when I saw them. And that's the only time I've ever seen Israel come under heavy fire like that. And if Iran, they're saying that another war with Iran is going to break out by the end of the month, but uh, I get the
Yeah,
feeling
but
that
also
there's going to be
people in
stability.
Israel have shelters, John. They are prepared.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that those are still major strikes, But the thing is, if they took out Hezbollah, with that pager attack, and they had all those rockets, like Israel never had to suffer the theoretical Hezbollah rocket strikes. That never happened. Like that's a huge miracle, that hasn't happened or was prevented somehow.
My God.
I think Israel is honestly a military and the intelligence is like it has no rival. Like it's
because we don't have any other choice.
Unparalleled. Yeah, whatever the reason, but you guys are so good at it. Like you single-handedly took down all the terrorist groups, like Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. Like it was amazing. And then
while also fighting against the UN and Amnesty and basically the entire world.
Yeah.
Or at least not fighting them, like.
That was impressive, and then people are like, oh, but they need help from the US to drop that bomb. It's like, dude, it's one fucking bomb. Like, what are you complaining about? And actually, like, Israel is also doing the dirty work for the US. I mean, like, the US has suffered from these terrorist groups. The whole West is suffering from these terrorist groups.
The whole world. I mean, even like people in Gaza are suffering from the terrorist group. It's not just like the all people are suffering like very much. Imagine living in Gaza.
Yeah. But look, I mean, like people are like, oh, it's the region. Just leave the region. No, dude, it's not just the region. I mean, like look when Hezbollah went to attack in Argentina, fucking Argentina, on the other side of the world. What is Hezbollah doing in Argentina?
So if you think Netanyahu is going to do, a surgical incursion, kill as many hostages as possible, and liberate as many, or save as many hostages as possible, and kill as many terrorists as possible, like after that, then what happens to the remaining civilian population? Like what are the actual national, international, and logistic plans?
They'll be put in temporary housing before Gaza is rebuilt, and then they'll be moved back in.
Yeah, but who is going to control that area?
The Israelis are going to control it to prevent another October 7th.
I think that would be the best approach. I mean, at this point, talking about two-state solution, as some people keep talking about, is just retarded.
But what is temporary housing? Like, do you even know what that term means?
Yeah. There will be non-stop complaints about that. The housing is not good enough and the food is not good enough. And electricity is not on all the time.
Yeah, and as soon as we build a brand new Gaza and move them all in, they'll say that it's broken, or they'll burn it down, or both. What difference does it make? I'm just saying what's going to happen.
No,
or they will use
that's not true.
Copper and aluminium and everything.
It's a trick question.
To create infrastructure to create bombs.
If you can say it, it is not true. So what Mexed just said is not true, and Devin and what he said is more likely true. Because there is no such thing as temporary housing. Either you got four walls and a roof with plumbing and a boiler, or you don't. It's called a tent. That's not temporary housing. While Jews rebuild Gaza, I mean, what kind of fucking logic is that?
No.
What logic is that?
To a tent. Jews did it for 40 years.
I think that Palestine should be recognized and give 100% of their responsibility to the Gazans and treat them to the same standards of every other country. And then all of the countries that are supporting the state of Palestine should put their embassies, as Daniel says. I want to see Ireland embassy in Gaza. I want to see Spain embassy in Gaza. Not in Tel Aviv, but in Gaza.
Yeah, well, you have to wait for it to get deterrorized first. I think that's what you're missing at this point, because they've had that for the past 40, 50, 60 years. They had that. They had their own currency. They had their own recognition. And so all this stupid bullshit about them not being a state or having official recognition, it's so fucking stupid. They've already had what they wanted. They're full of shit. They're a bunch of fucking propagandists.
And if they're recognized as a state, the special status of refugees by the UN that they have should also be stripped away from them. They will not be refugees anymore. They are in their land. It's the only status, the refugee status, that is passed on from generation to generation, that can be inherited. When have you seen that anywhere?
In Israel?
They have a special status. What?
I said in Israel.
What, refugee status? No,
yeah.
They're not refugees.
What do you think? Fucking a million Soviet Jews refugeed into Israel.
But that's more like a tagline, But I'm talking about UNRWA. UNRWA has got a special refugee status for all Palestinians, and they're being treated as refugees according to other countries. They have refugee status that they can pass from generation from generation.
It's not Section 8 housing, Issa. It's a parking lot.
Anyway. Give them what they want. Give them their land. Make them a country. Let them have their currency.
This is one thing I don't think people realize, that, like asbestos, when you do a building knockdown, when you knock down a building with a uranium-tipped munition, that whole area is fucking toxic now. So you got to bring in hazmat crews to clean up an incredible amount of rubble now in the Gaza, which is no easy task. Let me tell you, it's going to kill a lot of people just getting that rubble out of there.
I agree. What are they going to do with all the rubble?
It will take a long time. For ground zero, I think it took 8 months to clear the rubble.
Wow. Well, I vote for sending the Amish there. If you put a few Amish there, they're going to do that in 2 weeks.
No. The problem is not only that it's massive amounts, it's also a lot of it you need to first remove all the duds and all the explosives and all the whatever that.
Yeah. It has to be completely cleaned. You cannot have people living there. All the toxic materials, the still explosives, as you say, the mines, it's a minefield.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
On the thing about give them a state and refugees, Francesca Albanese said last week that Hamas is a state. She basically said that we should treat them like a state. She's the worst, but I agree with her.
Who is she?
She's the UN special raconteur for something.
Raconteur?
Whatever she is.
Where is she
the
from?
worst.
She sounds Latina.
She's Italian.
Oh.
And her husband is also a character. I don't remember exactly what I read about him. He's also a very anti-us.
So when you say that...
Everybody's anti-you. Anti-you.
Well, you said that Hamas was an ideology, but the thing is, it has actual identifiable leadership. So, and the senior leadership is gone. So, who is there to negotiate with? They're all just in Qatar or in Paris, and then you have...
No, but why would you negotiate with Hamas? You don't have to negotiate with Hamas. You have to negotiate with an alternative power. Hamas is supposed to be gone. I have been opposed to the negotiation from the very beginning. You don't negotiate with terrorists, because if you do, and I get it, Israel puts the lives of the Israeli first and blah 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 blah. But if you negotiate with Hamas, then you are vindicating their strategy of taking people hostage, so that they have got leverage on you.
No, I'm talking about at the UN in New York City.
Oh.
I mean, the United States of America spends $10 billion a year funding the United Nations. So it's like,
Isn't Trump leaving the UN?
there's no way they
Never
can
gonna
leave
happen.
it. Never gonna happen.
It's never going to happen, and we don't want America to leave the UN. We need America at the Security Council table.
Yeah, that whole thing is never going out of business. It's a big thing in New York City, but anyways, I'm just saying that it's a funeral procession, and nobody really likes going to funerals every day.
Well, they should send the Gazans momentarily to South Sudan, keep them there for a little bit, or Yemen, and then bring them back.
Why are you so cold-blooded or hard?
Why? Where do you want to put them? In the U.S.? You want to bring them to Europe?
People coming here, but
South Sudan's a fucking hellhole.
Well, then maybe that way there will be some attention brought to South Sudan, because their war has been longer than the Gaza, and nobody cares about South Sudan.
Well, yeah, but
nobody cares about the women and children there.
But who's getting targeted in South Sudan?
The Christians.
Yeah, so why do you want a bunch of radical Muslims to come in and maybe speed up the
then
process
North
of
Sudan.
Christians get killed?
North Sudan. Are you okay, honey?
No.
Hey Daniel, you gotta stop sucking on that vape pen every day.
Where did he go?
He had to go hydrate his throat so he doesn't cough something out.
He got offended.
So I don't want to stir the pot, but Pepe,
There he is.
I got a text from Jason Breska, and he said he's gonna stay off the app because he doesn't want to talk to parasites like you.
Like me?
He really texted you?
Like me? No, like Pepe.
He's my number one. He's my number one campaign contributor. He gave more money than anybody.
Really? You just take money from anyone.
Well, I hope he read the rules, because I don't think, I'm pretty sure he didn't break any rules by donating.
Can I donate if I am living outside of the U.S.?
No, that's actually a violation of the rule. But Caleb and Pepe and Devin can contribute to the campaign to elect candidate Kitover. We are going to Normal, Illinois to get featured at the Illinois State University on their local television network. We're going there September 5th for our second big media interview for the campaign.
Oh gosh, it's already 2 a.m. You see what you do, Daniel? You took me out of my clubhouse fasting, and now I'm being sleep deprived.
You do this to yourself, Issa. You're your own worst enemy. But
I know, but I miss Daniel so much.
Well, I want to.
He got banned from Telegram, and I couldn't communicate with him.
Let me ask Pepe something. So Pepe.
So it was the only way.
How did you get banned from Telegram? I didn't think that was possible.
That's why I asked.
I don't know. I wasn't even on Telegram.
You just get reported. It's the same as this place. But Pepe claims that love bombing is like sociopathic. Pepe was claiming that love bombing is sociopathic or psychotic, and so I'm wondering, when you hear McKay.
No, I said narcissistic and or sociopaths. Both.
Okay, so sociopathic. So when you hear Mikhail love bomb Issa, I hear the same thing coming on Mikhail, that is his sociopathic.
When does Mikhail love bomb Issa?
Go ahead, Issa. Tell him. He love bombs Issa.
Mikhail never love bombs.
Really? Are you serious? A lot of people come in here and love bomb you. Brad loves bomb you. Mikhail loves bombs you.
If anything, I could picture him cussing you out.
I think you got the bomb part right with him.
No, he doesn't love bombing. I mean,
definitely terrorist who loves
fight
bombs.
all the time, and he just like.
Well, you'll have to listen to the YouTube playback. I mean, you're gonna.
And he knows that I don't like Muslims, and that's the reason why he does that. But he's the hottest Palestinian in the app.
So I guess the affection is mutual, but nonetheless, I'm just saying that. Well, I mean, so what do you think, Pepe? If a female returns the love bomb to a sociopath, what does that make the female, Pepe?
That makes her the victim.
Depends. Women can. There's women that are sociopaths. They're diagnosed at a lower rate, but like even like borderline personality disorder, for example, they often tend to get with guys that are narcissistic or have antisocial personality disorder. So they usually both are kind of have their flaws.
Exactly. That happened one time to me, and you trauma bond with them. So basically, your head is fucked up, and that's the reason why the love bomber is able to get through to your brain, because there's something wrong with you. And then you trauma bond with them. But it's not love, it's just, I don't know, some sort of pain addiction or...
They have a very unhealthy, what do you call it, attachment style.
Yeah. And I thought that would never happen to me, because I've always thought, oh, I control things, I'm an intelligent person, I don't get manipulated. But it does happen.
So if you meet somebody who's like really sweet and seems super into you, and they...
I think you're muted, Pepe.
I said if you meet a person that like is really sweet and they go out of their way to make you happy, and it seems like they really they call it like mirroring, like kind of like the things that you like, and then it's just like you're like, oh my god, this person's amazing. But then things start to change a month or two later, and the person, you know, they'll seem a little irrationally upset about something, and then it starts snowballing, and it becomes more and more frequent, and you don't like a lot of these people are not intentionally being manipulative. That's literally how since they were children, their brains work.
But that's the reason why I'm saying you are trauma bonded, because in the end, it's your brain sticking to a pattern of something that happened to you at some point in your development, and then you don't know why, you cannot really explain it, but it's just like your brain works like a magnet or a radar, you know, that gets attracted to that kind of I don't know, trigger. And yeah,
well,
you get
hooked. Like the biggest manipulator is like yourself, you know? Like that's, you manipulate yourself into believing whatever sort of reality tunnel you want to like live in.
Who is this fat? Oh, Sunny. Yes, how are you, Chris? Yeah, that's good. True.
Yeah, no, it's 100% like...
That's true. We are our own, as Edmund says, you're your worst enemy.
Edmund is one of the smartest people on this app, 100%. Like, love this guy. He's great.
I know. And you're one of that, too. Like, you're very similar.
So I asked oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, no, I was just got to say, like, I work a 9-to-5 job, so I can't be on stages that often. So I'm getting blue-balled in the gulag all the time. So it sucks.
I remember from when like ages ago, when you had your actual profile. And then you became anonymous and started shadowing Edmund's rooms.
Yeah, no, because like he's sort of like this intergalactic radio station. So like I just tune in and he goes to like different rooms, so I could get like a broad, you know, wide information sort of gathering. And it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I agree with the thing that you're your own worst enemy.
So I asked Grok, what are the 10 most profound discoveries of C.G. Jung and his contributions to psychology? This is what it says. Collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of human experiences and archetypes inherited across generations. Archetypes, universal symbolic patterns like the hero or mother that shape human behavior and myths. Individuation, the lifelong process of integrating conscious and unconscious elements to achieve self realization. Psychological types, classification of personalities, including introversion, extroversion, and thinking feeling functions. Synchronicity, meaningful coincidences without causal links, connecting psyche and external events. Shadow, the repressed, darker aspects of the personality that must be confronted for growth. Anima, animus, inner feminine, anima, in men, and masculine, animus, in women, influencing relationships. Persona, the social mask or role one presents to the world, distinct from the true self. Complexes, emotionally charged clusters of ideas that influence thoughts and behaviors unconsciously. And the last one is active imagination, a technique for dialoguing with unconscious elements through visualization and creativity.
What do you think his IQ was?
I'd say he's fucking a genius, you know. I mean, he wrote a lot of books. So did Freud.
60?
Who is this? I didn't pay attention who it was.
Carl Gustav Jung.
Jung. Yeah, I love that guy. He's amazing.
Yeah.
It does feel though like our society, like I don't know, like it's sort of like it's become sort of like the devouring mother in a sense.
That's because of all the liberal crazy women. And when you see that archetype, you know, the mother archetype, it's very protective and very authoritarian, and it's like my way or your way. And when you mix that with the biology of a woman, you know, like all the hormones and the instability and the fact that we have way more thoughts per second than a man, and then our brains rest less, so we're basically, Jesus, Daniel, we're more neurotic, and you mix that with the archetype of the mother, it's a very bad recipe for authoritarianism.
Have you heard this idea called the longhouse?
No.
So it's like sort of like goes back to like the Native American times, where everyone would live in one house, and it was very matriarchal, and sort of like our entire society, in a sense, is sort of like a longhouse, where you know like the HR sort of departments, and it kind of takes over, you know, like I don't know, like it restricts human thought, and I don't know, it's just I don't like that at all.
What do you think that is? Where is it coming from?
I think it's cyclical, you know. Everything is cyclical in nature. So, you know, like what John says, like the Tao, right? You know, there's the yin and yang, and it goes in periods of cycles.
Well, I put in the chat that the biggest difference between 1995 and 2025 is your cell phone. And your goal should be to capture your cell phone instead of being caught by it. And to me, that's like one of the funnest games, but an exhausting game. However, there are many people that have gotten ahead of their cell phone. And there's many people who are hypnotized by their phone. Other people use their phone to hypnotize millions. But you could be Britney Spears and totally lose it and dance around with knives and get 200,000 likes.
So, you know, like this trans shooter, they're like part of like this network called 090, and like they want to radicalize people through the internet, through like their hypnosis. Like this other trans person who shot up a elementary school. I forget his name or her name, whatever. Like they were part of the same sort of organization. It's really interesting. Like let me post some links. It's really disturbing.
It's a brainwashing thing.
Yeah.
It's like a machine. It's like a cult. I don't know. It's just very weird. The whole trans movement is super weird. Especially when you see women wanting to have kids just to prove a point and trying to indoctrinate their kids into these movements. It's super sick.
Well, there's a lot of insane Jew hate on the internet that's claiming that Jews are responsible for all of homosexual behavior and all human history. Like, you see the craziest memes on X now. I wouldn't even want to share them with you because they're so insulting, but I do screenshot them because I think it's important to, like, have evidence of a lot of this stuff because people are mixing art with raw hate and bigotry and, propaganda. It's there. It's here on this app. You could say, in my opinion, that the Free Palestine movement is technically like its own cult in a way. Amir's room is very cultish with Wednesday, and it has a lot of overlays. But every room on this app eventually takes on the role of some type of ceremony or ritual or some kind of cult in a way.
Yes, we can hear you.
Which mic is walking?
I don't know, but it just... Poor Edmund, he was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just posted a link to the Wikipedia article. So 764 is a decentralized satanic neo-Nazi transnational sextortion network that is reportedly adjacent to the Order of Nine Angles, a satanic terrorist network. It is classified as a terror network by the United States Department of Justice.
Oh my God.
It's an actual thing, yeah.
Why is it so creepy?
Yeah, no, and a lot of these trans shooters have been part of this network, including this most recent one. They're nihilistic chaos agents.
It's Nazi, it's extortion, it's transnational. Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of adjectives.
So yeah, you can check out the Wikipedia article. Yeah, it's really it's a mind virus that's being spread through the internet.
Well,
it was found just 4 years ago.
Have you ever listened to something so stupid and then, watched it back on YouTube and you're like, I can't believe how stupid that conversation was, and I listened to it. So the thing is, if you hear something, people will listen to just about anything. So it does come down to spam and censorship and thought control. And, this is where there's criticism and the dumbing down of our society. I mean, go to your average classroom. Everybody's looking at their cell phones. They're all just, we're living with a bunch of slunked over people. You go to the gym, every single machine, people are slunked over looking at their cell phones. So it doesn't have to be in your body to, make you into a zombie.
We are all zombies. Who is this guy, John Sirota, in the chat? He's a Palestinian lover. Hey, Simon.
Hola, hola.
Americanism
is the greatest cult, Josh. There's no better cult to be in. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I don't know. Oh yeah, you're commenting in the chat.
I was in a room earlier. Oh, go ahead.
Is this who I think it is? I see Daniel has has been the bad influence on you, Isa. One day back on Telegram, and there goes the streak. Actually, you're right, because Daniel, I was trying to do 30 days of Clubhouse, and you got me out of it on day 28, and I just realized that after I connected, I should have stayed up 2 more days. 2 more days!
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
I apologize for being so irresistible.
Yeah, like what can I do? I didn't know, I didn't care.
Hey, John Kitover, can you please stop harassing me with your multiple friend requests from your multiple accounts?
Why? Is he hurting your feelings?
It's just really annoying that I have to reject them all every day. I don't know why he's so obsessed with them.
Oh my god, sounds like you have a hard life.
Pretty sure John does that to everybody.
Yeah, you're not special.
I don't even understand why you.
I have like friend requests from him on Instagram. I don't complain about it.
I mean, either way, I actually searched Pepe Clubhouse. There's a bunch of like videos of Peppa Pig. It's like a cartoon for little kids, and then I'll scroll down, then Pepe, and then it's a clip of me. Then I'll scroll down more, and I get over.
Yeah, there's a huge Pepe Clubhouse collection that I've built up over the years. You're one of my most widely produced Clubhouse clowns, Pepe. Congratulations.
Amazing.
Yeah. Are you harassing Josh for anything special, John?
No, if I add you a bunch of times, it's just because the algorithm shows me and I'm clicking everybody. So don't think you're special. Sorry. I know you're a star and a flower, but I do it to everybody. So that's not personal, Josh.
Is it supposed to be better that you're spamming everyone as opposed to just particular people?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it means you're not. It means he's not stalking you.
Yeah.
So you're not a stalker. You're just a nuisance.
Yeah.
It means you don't have a claim.
Yeah, I'm trying to do mass communication here. Some people call it spam. I call it using 60 phones in my office.
Josh, plus you only have 300 followers. Like, I don't think that you get too many requests from people, so you should feel flattered that he's actually paying attention to you.
I mean, you could be a dirty slut like Issa and get lots of male attention.
That's right. Look at my profile. I got 4.4. Oh my god. It has increased while I was away.
So Pepe, Issa asked me earlier about the drama and the doxing and the shit stirring of the pot. I was just wondering, what do you think your role is in terms of shit stirring a pot? Because
he's the shit stirrer.
Yeah, he's a chief shit stirrer, isn't he?
I'm a different type of shit stirrer. I would make like rooms about controversial topics. I use slurs often. I would give unpopular opinions, but that was like my MO. Mine wasn't to like have the petty drama or back and forth between people. But not to say I'm above it, because obviously I tried to remain cordial with JB, but he insisted I did something I didn't do. He's like telling people not to go near me, and I don't even make rooms much anymore. And he what else did he do? He was calling me names and shit. And so I went in his room and I addressed his questions and said, like, dude, I did not dox Roger. I'm not going to dox Roger. Never told anybody his real name. I gave a screenshot that
everybody knows his real name.
Exactly, and everybody knows what the fuck he looks like from season 1. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it. And
the drama of saying that somebody's real name is doxing is kind of retarded.
My name, you faggot.
No. I did not take your name. This is the name of Jesus in Arabic.
But I just, so basically, he wanted to throw out these accusations, so I just, first of all, he's somebody who went on trial on Clubhouse so many times. He got called out by the people that had really big audiences several years ago, I re-aired those clips. We dug out both of his felony convictions that involved, well, one was pretty awfully horrible. The other one was just like, just a $200,000 embezzlement, not a big deal.
That's not very much embezzlement, really.
It wasn't even really embezzlement. It was just fraud. But he, then I play all the clips of the women, the men that he tried scamming on here. And, he lies about his ancestry. He's not a Jew. He mostly was saying he was Italian. He has zero Italian ancestry.
I'm going to say it again, but I have never heard him claim that he's a Jew.
He did after October 7th. He told me to my face he was a Jew. To be fair, he does have some people in his family background. He's Eastern European. That when I searched, these weren't his relatives, but when I searched people that were named his relatives, the same name,
honey,
they were Jewish.
Point, a lot of there's a lot of Jewish DNA in people. Like I have 4% according to my DNA.
Well, no, I'm not talking about DNA.
Jewish.
No, I'm not talking about DNA. I'm talking about, is it possible that he has maybe one side of his family is Jewish? Perhaps. I didn't go digging into that, but he does have one particular surname that seems most of them are Jewish that I came across, so it's possible.
Fellow Jewish people.
So, I was just asking, why you stir a pot of shit? Because don't you get shit on your hands?
Don't you see, John, that people here love to pretend that they hate and that they're unhappy, but everything works out well because they are happy while pretending they aren't. This is how they get their dopamine.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I personally, if you're going to try to and his MO has always been he tries to weasel his way into a platform like Million Man Marathon, Healthy Debates, and then try to get an admin or be allowed to open rooms, and then all of a sudden, I won't get into his real issues, so I don't want to litigate that in here, but he has a lot of issues, but he usually ends up fucking them up, but he thought he was going to try to bully people by lying on me. Fine, I will run your ass through the mud, and I did. It was embarrassing for him. He had to do mass reporting. And
I mean, this is Clubhouse. Everybody on here has serious issues. This is not news.
No, he has.
Right.
He has much more serious issues.
Anybody on here who doesn't have several cluster B diagnostic criteria, immediately noticeable.
Sure. Well, he definitely has those, but I mean, most people do not have an egregious. Yes, but I'm talking about an egregious criminal history like him.
Well, we are.
That's fine.
That's a little bit different.
That's fine, but you don't have most people do not have the egregious felony history that he has.
Yeah, criminal is different. Most of us are pretty good at not getting caught.
Okay, so would you? I'm sorry, but would you leave? Would you con two women and coerce and threaten them, saying that if they leave, they're gonna let their family know?
Yeah, he does that to me every day.
And 50 and 60. Hold on, and then hold on. 50 and then you have them sleep over the course of 2 days with 50 to 60 men each, and don't give them any of the money.
Yeah, he's trying to do that to me, but
this guy's just a piece of shit.
So he's a pimp.
No, he's not a pimp. He was literally it was fucking fraud.
Well, I mean, if he's having them sleep with people.
This is funny because
that is not pimping. Because
that's not pimping.
Hold on. The concept of what Pepe is describing, I don't know if it's true or not, but the concept that he's describing is more sex trafficking and not pimping. Kind of it's voluntary, right? Like the woman is being commercialized. What he's describing is not pimping.
all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in Pepe Clubhouse. You just gotta type in Pepe Clubhouse. It's not Peppa the Pig. It's Pepe Clubhouse.
This is entirely different.
Hold on, just let me say this. That's a very serious accusation.
Okay,
it's a very serious accusation.
He does not deny that he did that part. What he does deny, and I put a link in the chat, that was when it was on national news, this piece of shit, he ended up doing a plea bargain, so he was not, when it came to the sexual assault charge where he forced a woman to suck his dick, he pled out of that one, but he absolutely admits himself that, yes, I did that to those women. I made them sleep with those guys, and basically they were to get no money. He spent it all. It was all his, and the only reason he could pull it off is because he would threaten them.
Oh my God! I'm reading the article. Is it for real?
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but when somebody says, "Oh, we all have issues," no, I mean,
in fairness, this is coming from the New York Post, which is
Oh,
not.
Well, dude, but even the New York.
He got convicted, and he admits it. That he did it.
If these were not, I mean, they could have been.
Well, they also wouldn't be writing it quite so explicitly
exactly,
if they couldn't
because
get
you can be sued.
I'll read this.
Right.
It's good wisdom.
Right. Crazy things.
Is this guy JB that so basically he wanted to run his mouth. So what I
Pepe took him to the boxing gym and taught him what it's like to box.
Shut up. So what I did is I was just like, all right, when he opens a room, I'm gonna make a title about him. I'm gonna start airing out his laundry, and then he's somebody who's really sensitive about like, oh, how many people can I get in my room? How many? He gets a sense of control out of doing it. That's why he's like mods the way he does.
Yeah, I know who JP is. I know you're talking.
Yeah, and so basically, I would end up getting more than twice the people in my room, mainly because people wanted to hear the nasty shit I would say about him and release all of the dirt. So I did it, and he ultimately thought it would be cute. So there's one woman, KK, who her husband was an officer in the Marines, and he was killed while serving overseas. She was known on the veteran side of the act. So established all this with her. She's not a phony or anything like that. He decided to say, like, you know what, you're a fucking you know what, I think you're a fucking fraud. Fuck your husband, suck my dick and I'll give you a yeast infection. Basically shitting on her and her dead husband. And that obviously did not look good. And that's probably why he's no longer an admin of Healthy Debates. So, I don't know.
What's this you talking about?
Wait, since
JB?
when?
No, why would you talk about JB like that?
Yes, he got kicked. He's no longer an admin as of yesterday.
Why?
Okay,
I'm guessing it's because of what he told KK. He was saying vulgar shit to her, saying like fuck her husband who died serving our country. That she's a phony and she's a fraud, and her husband was like a piece of shit. He didn't even then trying to say that like, oh, he probably didn't even die serving